Welcome back to the beautiful Autodromo Enzo Edina Ferrari for our race for Tier 3 at Imola. Everything's been sorted, the grid's been reset, and now everyone's got to remember to load their setups, sort the strategies out, and then we can hopefully go racing this time without any problems.
Yeah, remember the setup. That's the most important thing at this point.
Oh, yeah. Key rule 1. Remember your setups.
Yeah, because it's very easy to just be on autopilot after the restart and think you've still got the one you had on before.
I mean, it's not like everyone's going to be losing out on tyres neither, because obviously with the wet qualifying, everyone's still got the full choice of their dry tyres.
Yeah. And that might be useful later on, because we, as you said before, in the first stream, I think, that safety cars are quite common around here, so there might be a few tyre stops needed.
Yeah, they can be common. Although Friday in X round Imola, we didn't have a single safety car, and there wasn't a single safety car in Tier 1 neither, as it looks like we're going again. Cars going out on formation. We'll have a quick look at who's starting on what. We've got majority of the drivers going for the medium tyre. 2 drivers of Stube and Baby Hornet have decided to opt for the hard tyres, but we have a select few at the back with the soft tyres. Smith, Bergen and Chris Bailey going softs for the start of this one. So all tyres are in use for this start, but the majority of drivers deciding to start on the mediums, which I would say is a safer bet. I think the only reason you'll probably start on the soft tyre is if you're expecting probably an early safety car, so you can get that mandatory tyre stop changed and done early.
Yeah, and this means that after qualifying in the wet as well, that we've seen every single tyre compound used in this Grand Prix.
Yep, which is
in quali, and now the hards, medium and soft are all being used.
Yep, so a rare occasion that every tyre ends up being used all in one evening, as we see a few cars having mishaps on the formation lap and now stuck on the grid whilst everyone else is forming up. See how cleanly everyone will get through Tamburello, because you don't realise how tight Tamburello really is.
Yeah, and it being a chicane as well, it really is a choke point on the first lap.
As we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights, and it's out for the Imola Grand Prix, and it looks like a nice start for Bobo holding position. Get a better camera shot as Bobo and Voltage challenging down towards the first corner, and it's Voltage ahead of Bobo, and everyone filtering through Tamburello nice and neatly. Hopefully we have Mutz Nuts dropping down and a few Baby Hornet dropping a few places as well. Hopefully everyone's got through nice and tidy, as Bobo and Voltage already opening a gap of a second to Stube in third, so everybody There's a lot happening towards the back.
I think everyone's just playing it very cautious at the back, to be honest. Everyone's kind of just waiting their turn, so it looks quite slow.
Yeah, it's always better to be cautious than aggressive on lap 1, because as we all know, it's technically a marathon, not a sprint. You can't win a race on lap 1, as we see a lot of people trying to get the better of each other through the chicane, as Voltage leads at the end of lap 1 with Bobo closely behind. They are already 1.4 up the road from Stube, who's got a handsome little margin to Simba in P4, and Armour getting close to the Ferrari towards Tamburello.
We've got Bergen and Captain Nibs have come into the pits. I think they must have had some damage.
Yeah.
Although Bergen as a reserve might just be getting his pit stop out of the way.
Possibly, as we've seen, I think it was Triz dropping a handful of places. He's now down to 10th. As we have a yellow flag, that will be Baby Hornet at the Tozer hairpin. As it looks like Bobo's made a move for the lead and is now back ahead of Voltage. That must have happened out of Aqua Minerale. So Bobo now will look to open that 1 second gap. He's almost got it, but it's about 7/10. So Voltage will have DRS down towards Tamburello, but he'll be too far back to do anything with it. So he'll be looking to stay close to the Williams. It's almost pushing the Williams through Tamburello. But he'll be looking to stay close to the diffuser of the Williams to probably... He's super close through the corners as Nact Champ gets 3 seconds. But Voltage really close to the back of Bobo through the corners. He's had a little look up towards Piratella, but thought better of it. Lovely helicopter shot through Aqua Minerale. Beautiful shot from the helicopter, looking down on the 2. Sits back behind the Williams. He'll be looking for a good exit out of the second Rivazza.
Just seen Sambal make a move on Nax Champ, but then lose it on the uphill part of Aqua Minerale, and he's dropped down to 17th now. He was P13.
Voltage super close to the back of Bobo. DRS open. Goes around the outside of the Williams to retake the position. Bobo instantly slotting into the slipstream to hopefully get back in. Probably expect a bit of yo-yoing from these two if they get, depending on who gets the better exit out of Rivazza 2, because these two, Bobo and Voltage, are at the moment in a race of their own. They've got 3 seconds to Stube after just 4 laps.
Well, Stube's on the hards, so he's going to be slower for a few laps, but later on when those mediums start to wear, he should become quicker relative to those guys. So it's important for them at the moment to make the most of the grip.
Yeah, he's playing the more patient game of the longer first stint. Smith has fell foul. We've got 3 drivers now with 3 seconds for track limits. And I think Stube here is going to be under attack from Armar in the Alpine. As Chris Bailey has also been caught out with the 3 seconds. As Armar having a little look at Stube towards Tamburello, but not quite able to make anything from it. But with these two battling for third and fourth, it's going to help Bobo and Voltage pull away significantly than they already have. That gap 4 seconds now, but Stu deciding to play the patient game with the hard tyres. Got a lovely gaggle of cars from 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th, roughly in close proximity to each other. Coming through Aqua Minerale as we follow the Red Bull of Flattery, as it looks like on the left hand side. Chris Bailey making moves. His Simba's just been caught out at the chicane and got 3 seconds. So that is now 5 drivers with 3 seconds within 5 laps. People seem to be struggling with track limits round Imola. Ooh, the Red Bull getting very skittish out of the second Rivazza.
It'll be something for us to keep an eye on for the front drivers as well, see how many warnings they've got. I'll just have a quick check for the front 2.
There's Chris Bailey slowly creeping up on his teammates, Simba. The 2 Ferraris close together on track. Simba on the mediums gets... Oh, as both Ferraris get out of shape through Villeneuve. Both ending up going in the gravel as Nact Champ gets another 3 seconds. He's now on 6. But the best thing for Simba now is to try and stick with Chris, who's on the soft tyres, and hopefully get pulled along.
Yeah, Chris's softs might start to wear at this point, so that is going to be important for Simba, although it looks like he's about to fall out of DRS range already.
Yeah, it's probably just outside of it, but it would have been relatively close if he was or wasn't, as Chris Bailey's actually missing an end plate on the right hand side, but it's not seemed to be bothering him too much, as Stuber's got past Armar for third with the aid of DRS. Lap 7 and the field is already relatively spread.
Yeah, there's a real penalty in this game if you lose DRS on the car in front, because if you're at the back of a DRS train and you lose touch, they will just pull away from you, and that's been the case with the front 2 and also with Stube and Armour in third and fourth. Flaherty not able to catch up to those two.
Yeah, we have a yellow flag. That's Triz on the entry to Tamburello on the track map. We're currently watching the battle for third place, the Sauber of Stu versus the Alpine of Armar. But we'll quickly jump to the front 2, as Voltage right under the diffuser of the Williams of Bobo. He will have DRS and he'll look to breeze past the Williams, looking to go the long way round, and does so way before the braking zone. So Voltage retakes the lead as Captain Nibs got 3 seconds as well, and I noticed Triz got 1 just before that as well. But these two at the front, Voltage and Bobo, just trading first and second at this point. As long as they don't do anything silly, should be straightforward for them.
Well, the only issue that one of them might have is the penalties. Voltage is on 2 warnings so far. Bobo, the last time I checked, he didn't have any warnings at all. So in that sense, it's Bobo who has the advantage.
Yeah,
if Voltage gets 1 more, he's going to be
as Voltage goes a bit out of shape at the hairpin. Obviously played the safe game and obviously didn't get penalised for it. As you say, he's on 2 as it is, so it is advantage Bobo at the moment. So we'll probably see Voltage playing it a little bit more cautious than he was doing. with only being one warning away from 3 seconds as Bobo inherits the lead. And with the penalty situation, like you said, with Voltage being on 2 warnings and Bobo, from what you're seeing, having 0.
Safety car.
Ooh. Wonder what's brought that out.
Is there a...
There's
Baby
a
Hornet.
Haas stationary at Piratello.
He's missing a front wing.
So Baby Hornet must have lost it on the exit of Piratello, as the soft runners, I can guarantee, that are still on the softs will take this to get off the soft tyres and jump onto the hards. Maybe the medium runners will decide to take advantage of it as well.
Yeah, that was my thought, that they might do that. And
Oh,
Simba,
Simba with 10 seconds for ignoring yellow flags. Possibly one we'll see after the race, as he gets 3 seconds for track limits as well. As yet, Bobo is in from the lead and Voltage has followed him. I would expect, yep, Stube is carrying on through with being on the hard tyres. So Stube will take the lead at this moment in time on lap 10 as we're under safety car.
and Simba is carrying on, which I find quite surprising, because I think if he had pit, he would have served that 10-second penalty that he got as well.
I think he would have, yes. So, because unlike the last game, if you had 10 seconds, you ended up having to do 2 5 seconds. You can serve a 10 seconds all in one go. Yes, it means you sat there for what feels like a century, but at least you get the full 10 seconds removed instead of having to do 5, go round and then possibly wait for another safety car and get rid of the second half of that penalty.
Yeah, and it just makes more sense time-wise to serve it during a safety car when the field is neutralised and you can catch back up, because otherwise you're just carrying that 10 seconds under racing conditions.
Yeah, plus with, like you say, the pack will be more bunched up, which means if you serve the 10 seconds, yes, you'll drop to the back, the pack, depending on how spread out the pack is. At the moment it is relatively very spread out, because we've got the Mercedes and Red Bull of Triz and Sambal just coming through Tamburello towards Villeneuve. And those opening few laps is, Nact Champ really struggling with track limits. He's just had about 6 seconds in total in a matter of corners, but we had a few as Simba is diving in now, so he will be serving those 10 seconds and also going to the hard tyres, so that'll drop him, I would say, behind the V-carb, or probably ahead of the McLaren. We'll soon see as they're coming through the second revaxer on the little track map on the bottom right of the screen, as the McLaren will go through, and I think the V-carb will as well, so Simba will come out behind Mutz Nuts. So he will rejoin in 17th. He'll be on fresh tyres like a majority of them that have pitted under the safety car, but he's lost less time than he would have done under green flag racing conditions. But watching high voltage and Bobo scrapping out front in the early stages reminds me of a certain moment back in 1982 when the two Ferraris of Gilles Villeneuve and Didier Pironi were scrapping out for the majority of that race, with Didier Pironi coming out on top after defying team orders and beating Gilles Villeneuve to the win that day.
Yeah, and that had pretty tragic connotations as well, because Villeneuve was not very happy at all with Didier Pironi after that incident. And
No.
of course, the very next race was the fateful one for Gilles when he crashed at Zolder and unfortunately passed away. So that relationship was never healed, as Baby Hornet is going off track in order to allow the field to lap him.
Yeah, and it looks like Stu backed off to think the safety car was going to be coming in, but the safety car has actually stayed out, so Stu is having to catch back up to the safety car. I think Stu backed off a little bit too early, because we didn't have a message to say the safety car was coming in.
Yeah, he would have got a message from his engineer as well to say if it was. So just a miscalculation there from Stu.
Yeah. Caught back up quickly to the safety car, so I don't think any damage will be done of that. But you brought up, obviously, the tragedy of Villeneuve after the whole fiasco with him and Pironi at the San Marino Grand Prix in '82. Obviously, San Marino or Imola is full of tragedy, especially with the year 1994. We had the horrific crash of one Rubens Barrichello in practice, only to have a fateful crash of Roland Ratzenberger in the qualifying. But the one that shook the world was on race day, when three-time world champion and Formula One legend Ayrton Senna ended up crashing out and ending his life at Tamburello, which why the Tamburello corner and Villeneuve, the two chicanes, were brought in '95 due to that very reasons, because after '94 Formula One really hammered down on safety for the drivers in particular, as we will be going green flag this time as Stu backs the pack up and is about to get us underway to start our green flag racing to start lap 13. As there's a few penalties at the back, people getting a bit anxious to get going, as Hive is going to be looking to challenge the Sauber towards Tamburello, but then you got Bobo and Voltage just behind, as well as everyone trying to filter through nice and tidy through Tamburello, as Stube has lost it on the exit of Tamburello and lost his wing as well, which has promoted Bobo and Voltage back to the first two positions. They've had an amazing restart, but sadly for Stube, he got a bit out of shape out of Tamburello and is now going to have to go and pit for repairs. But it's as you were with Voltage and Bobo at the front, as Chris Bailey gets another 3 seconds for track limits.
And Hive's decision to stay out on the mediums is not paying off very well for him, because he's always Chris Bailey there looked like he went into the back of Hive. There was some,
Hive,
like some debris.
Hive, as you say, getting absolutely swamped off this restart with those on the fresh hard tyres, as both Wookie and Triz with 3 seconds respectively, as DRS is now activated again. Bergen with 3 seconds now as well, as he makes the move on Nuts Nuts further down. But it's like I said earlier on, it's as you are with the front two of Voltage and Bobo 1 and 2, with Armar third, Chris Bailey fourth, the Red Bull Authority in fifth. Hive obviously dropping down, probably questioning himself, staying out on the mediums, really struggling against the people on the fresher hards. You got Wookie P7 as always, he's trying to overtake Hive into Piratella, goes a bit off track. as he get. Oh, that's a bit dangerous. He tried to give the place back because he went off track, and there's contact with the Haas as well. Wookie trying to do the right thing. He went off track trying to overtake the Mercedes around the outside of Piratella. Did the sporting thing, giving the position back, but then there was a Haas there as well, and it just got a bit congested through Acqua Minerale.
Yeah, that's not the point on track where you want to be trying to give positions back. Chris Bailey up into third.
Yeah, he's got past the Alpine, as we've just seen Womack get past Hive. Hive, to be honest, doing well for saying he's, as Nact Champ gets another 3 seconds, he's definitely finding track limits difficult. As Airways now looks to challenge the Mercedes of Hive. Triz with another 3 seconds to his name, as we have a yellow flag. That is Triz at Tamburello. Airways with 3 seconds now. So many people with penalties at the moment now, really struggling with track limits here.
Yeah, if this race was a challenge for who can get the most time penalties, it's currently Triz winning that battle.
As we've got people trying to make moves. Oh, there's a contact between the two Aston Martins. Bit of a miscommunication between the pair of them as Chris Bailey sets the fastest lap. But it's a bottleneck behind Hive, as Hive now decides to pit from what was P7 to go on to the hards.
He's popped the cork on that bottle.
Yep. The bottle's been popped. There's a bit of contact between Smith and Simba as Simba was making the move towards Tamburello. And he's now coming under attack from Nick Champ as, ends up in the gravel, does Smith, the Aston Martin. And now he's being more contact through the Tozer hairpin. A lot of drivers not willing to give a inch to one another, as it's really close in this midfield pack from Airways down to Sambal.
Yeah, it's a complete cluster here, and drivers making mistakes, and that's a Haas.
That'll be Baby Hornet. Stube has now been hit with 3 seconds. And Hive with one as well. Plenty of track limits coming in thick and fast at this point. I think drivers are being a little bit too aggressive with the fresh rubber. Would be my guess as whoa, that were an Alpine near enough going on the grass towards Tamburello. That would have been Nick Champ down in 10th place at the moment, at the front of this train, as he gets on the gravel and collects the Aston Martin as well. Got wide through Villeneuve into the gravel and ended up taking the Aston Martin on the way as he was rejoining. As we'll just have a look at the front runners, Voltage and Bobo.
Safety car.
Oh, yeah. Now I wonder if that's for the possible debris at Villeneuve for the incident with Nact Champ and Smith. I wonder if that's why the safety cars come out, because there was plenty of debris flying when the Alpine, as Chris has gone diving into the pits, locked up to make sure he got the car stopped. He's going to be looking to go.
Sorry, it could also have been Baby Hornet that caused this again, because he's racking up quite a bill for the Haas team with the front wings that he's used up, because he's lost his for the second time tonight. Yes,
he is for tonight. He has turned into the Haas's version of Logan Sargent tonight. But Simon, Baby Hornet, obviously didn't race on Monday because he wasn't here. So this is his first time racing at Imola this week, and to be honest, so is it's Chris Bailey's as well, because he's been away in Tenerife, but he'll be racing again in the extreme class after this one. So we still have another 32 laps to go, 32 laps after this race with the no assist extreme race, which should be fun to watch. But
yeah, a few boys from the tiers who will have already raced here early in the week, so they should be well practiced at this track by the time they get out there for extreme.
And I wouldn't put it past it, but I would say all eyes will probably be on Ujoni as per usual, especially with him finally breaking his Imola curse, winning X on Friday, and then also capping it off with winning Tier 1 on Monday. So he's going to be one to watch in Extreme after Tier 3. But it's alright
to complete the set.
Yeah, especially with it being his one of two home races, because this half of the calendar we've got Imola, and then next season, which will most likely be the second half of the official calendar, we'll have Monza. So he'll be looking to hopefully do the double then as well when that one comes around, because obviously we're, I'd say, just gone over halfway this season. This is round 7 of 12, so we're just gone over the halfway distance of this season. And judging by the way we have a few stragglers at the back, which will be Hive, Stube and Baby Hornet, still yet to catch up to the back of the safety car train. We could be in at the end of lap 19, or probably in on the end of lap 20, depending on how quickly they get back to the on the back of the safety car train. But they're nearly there, plus with how slow the safety car likes to go. Plenty of weave.
The second sector line is just before the chicane, so the safety car would have stated it was coming in at that point, so we might be in for another lap.
That's how it's in. So we're going to be going green flag racing on lap 20, so we'll be starting lap 20 of 32. Everyone bunched back up. Voltage will take the restart with Bobo behind, Womack's third. See when Voltage decides to go. Safety car's in, and Voltage has bolted. Bobo not too far behind, trying to stay in that V-Carbs slipstream down towards Tamburello for the 20th time. Everyone, there's a few more track limits coming further back again, as we have a yellow flag at Tamburello as well.
I think that was McLaren, Shaver.
We're watching, as we carry on watching the guys at the front, it's pretty much single file at the moment. As we'll drop down to the middle of the pack as we jump to Mutsnuts, who gets a bit on the grass and loses a place to Nibs. So we'll have a little look further down at the gaggle of cars towards the back end of the order. Try and give as many drivers airtime as possible. As Stu currently stuck behind the McLaren as DRS has now been reactivated. The Stube is missing an end plate as well, so he's decided to carry on despite missing an end plate on that left hand side. He's hooked up behind the rear wing of the McLaren, pulls to the inside, just enough room given by a car's width, but the McLaren of Shaver holds on as there was a change for position just ahead, as we see Hyde now ahead of Smith, as Triz has now got 10 seconds and has been disqualified from the race. I think that's because the penalties accumulated in the race.
Yep. Oh, I think I just saw an end plate go for possibly Airways.
Yeah, I've just jumped to the to a gaggle, and it was looking rather congested coming out of Acum in a Raleigh.
Yeah, Airways is missing his front left end plate after collision with Chris, I believe.
Yeah, everyone trying to give everyone room as possibly can. He decides to stay out though, despite the missing end plate, as the Ferraris have swapped, so Chris ahead of Simba. Wonder if Simba will try and stick with Chris and use him, but Chris looks to be dropping Simba again, although we can't tell through here because it's quite twisty, but he has broken him by a second or 1.3 now, so Chris is absolutely burning fuel, leaving his teammate behind.
He's on much quicker tyres as well.
Yeah, because he
less wear.
Yeah, he pitted under that other safety car, as Simba now 3 seconds again, so Chris at the moment with the freshest tyres, we're pitting under the last safety car. Seems to have gone a bit quiet between these two out front, Voltage and Bobo. Although Bobo close to the back end of Voltage, we have had DRS for a few laps, so will Bobo decide to have a look down towards Tamburello? Is not close enough. Nah, not close enough to make anything into Tamburello. So it's still as you are, with Voltage ahead of Bobo on lap 23. The V car
doing well.
Yeah, he's really caught up to the back of these two, as Bobo round the outside at Tozer, as we see Voltage with a we had a bit of a glitch there with Voltage as well. Another safety car.
I'm not sure what it is.
Oh, Voltage has left the session.
Oh no.
Voltage having some tech issues.
If he can get back in while the safety car's still out, he should be okay, because everyone's going to be driving obviously at a slow speed, so he's not going to lose out under AI like he would have done under green flag.
Yeah, hopefully as well. I mean, the worst case scenario is if his AI decides to pit under the safety car, which has happened in the past in other games, so
I think it will, to be honest.
We'll soon tell as we come out the final corner. What does his AI car decide to do?
Stays out.
Stays out, thankfully.
Right, I'll see if I can send him quickly.
As we have a few pitters further back. Soft tyres are an option at this point, but I think the safer option, with the way the softs degrade round here, I think the medium tyres would still be the safer option at this moment in time. But
yeah, there's a few guys at the back. Wookie, Stube, Mutsnuts and Nakchamp have all gone for the softs.
Now here's a question. With the fact that you've only got the one DRS straight from Ravazza 2 down to Tamburello, and every other part of the track it's really difficult to overtake. Would you say track position is more important at Imola, or do you think it's a bit 50-50?
I think it's a bit 50-50 because the DRS is still pretty strong around here, even on that one straight. We've seen Chris Bailey make up a lot of positions out on track tonight. He started at the back and has got himself all the way up to 4th, so I think that, yeah, it is a bit of a split. I don't think it's the be all and end all like compared to how it will be next week at Monaco.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a complete, as now Nakchamp has been disqualified due to accumulating penalties, so that's 2 disqualifications we've had in this race due to track limits. So yeah, Triz and Nakchamp sadly getting disqualified by the game due to the number of penalties they've accumulated.
Yeah, I don't know what the number is that as Voltage's AI has overtaken Bobo for the lead. This isn't a good sign.
No, it's not what you want to see. But there's not a lot Voltage can do when he's not in the car, so...
No.
As he's now back in the car. Well, he's back in the lobby, he's not back in the car yet, but... I don't think Bobo's going to be too happy being behind Voltage now, and the fact he won't be able to overtake him neither.
Yeah, that could be pretty controversial because Voltage will rejoin and see that he's just leading the race and won't probably realise that he wasn't leading the race before, so he might just try and hold on to that now. The game doesn't seem to have penalised him.
No penalty or anything. As his car is now solid, so he's back in that V car, is Voltage. And to be honest, with everybody bunched up as it is, I think the worst case scenario would be if Voltage decide to correct the situation, as he really backs up out the chicane.
Well, I think Bobo will still fancy his chances to get this done out on track.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he will be looking to reclaim that first spot that he unfortunately lost through no fault of his own nor Voltage, as Voltage really taking it patiently for this restart, and he's gone, but Bobo has stayed with him, as Bobo right under the wheel tracks of the V-carb, and he's going through into the lead as we head towards Tamburello for the 26th time. Hopefully everyone gets through nice and tidy, as it looks like Womax is now attacking Voltage into Villeneuve of all places.
Chris might have a look as well on the inside into Toza.
Yeah,
he does.
And also Voltage losing place his hand over fist, and now he's retired. Issues for Voltage late in the race, and now it's causing havoc for everybody else further back, as we'll jump to the front. This has pretty much made it plain sailing for Bobo, because everyone behind him apart from Simba is a higher tier driver, which also is on the counterbalance is good for Simba, because behind him you got Captain Nibs, who is a tier 3, but then you've got Bergen just behind Captain Nibs, so it balances it out, but it definitely helps Bobo with the amount of higher tier drivers he's got behind him.
The problem Simba has is the number of penalties he's got. he's going to lose a lot of time to some of the guys behind him when
Yeah,
he crosses the finish line.
Bergen looked like he was shaping a move into Villeneuve, but backs out of it, plays sensible. There's now Nibs showing a bit of pace, gapping Simba. Could be a very strong finish for Williams at this rate, because at the moment it's looking like a Williams 1-2 if it finishes as it is. We'll just get the penalties up just to see on who's on what. So Chris Bailey in second, the higher tier driver on 9 points, but then you look further down, you got Nibs only on 3 seconds, so technically it would be a Williams 1-2, as Bailey's made a move for the lead. But if you were Bobo, you wouldn't really fight it, because he knows that those drivers around him, Chris, Womack and Armour, are all driving. Oh, Chris Bailey getting big time snap out of Villeneuve. Keeps it held, but I would think go on.
I think Bobo just will not want anything to do with any of these guys if they get close to him. He doesn't want to risk anything at this point. He'll just let them go.
No, Chris Bailey now on 12 seconds with that another 3 seconds out of in the middle of Aqua Minerale. Yeah, I do agree with you. Bobo will play the sensible game. He hasn't got to worry about the 3 cars around him. Plus, Captain Nibs now finds himself on 6 seconds. So, with Bobo not having any penalties, and it also protects him from Nibs behind, as Bergen gets another 3 as well. Take that off the screen because it's taking too much place up, apologies. As Chris Bailey sets the fastest lap, he'll be definitely taking a lot of this in for Extreme, so Chris is benefiting some way from this.
Yeah, he's probably figuring out where on the track he can push the limit and not get warnings versus where he needs to be a bit more careful.
Yeah, we're currently watching the train of Simba, Flattery and Smith for 7th, 8th and 9th. As Simba another 3 seconds on the exit of Piratella. As Wookie's retired, and we have another safety car.
That's the exit of Villeneuve. It looks like he might have crashed on the right hand side coming out of there.
I wonder how many people will decide to come in for softs, because it's not too late to probably decide, but Bobo decides to stay out. As Bergen pits, Simba pits as well, Smith pits. So they've decided to go for the soft tyre option. Airways carries on. A few cars deciding to come in for the soft tyre. As we're on lap 30 of 32, but the question is, will they be allowed to catch up to the safety car? That's the question, because we're so close to the end. We've only got the end next lap and then the following lap, so we've only got 2 laps after this, which we could see the safety car coming in at the end of this lap. Which means those that have pitted have got to either go like the clappers to catch the end back of the safety car, or find themselves not being able to do anything with the safety car coming in. So I won't be surprised if we see the safety car coming in this lap with us only, as there it is. So those cars that are pitted have got to go like the absolute clappers to get to the back of the safety car train before Chris Bailey decides to go. But Chris, being a higher tier driver, will probably dive into the pits with the higher tier rule, which will release Bobo. As Chris backing them up.
Hive is going to catch up, but the three behind Hive are not going to be able to make it.
No, as Chris Bailey stays out, so he's took the restart. But Bobo looking to attack the Ferrari towards Tamburello. All nice and tidy through there as we have the run down to Villeneuve. Bobo having a bit of more shapes pulling behind the Ferrari. Again, Chris with a twitch on the exit of Villeneuve, but keeps the car held. Good reactions from Chris Bailey in the Ferrari.
Some yellow flags near the back. I think that might have been Bergen and I'm not sure who else, but someone was going slowly there around Villeneuve and Tozer.
Yeah, we're currently watching a scrap between Simba, Schmidt and Hive as we have a yellow flag again at
Bergen.
Aquaminarale. Yep, it was this McLaren as well, so Shaver seems to have been caught up in that as well, as the leaders come onto the final lap. The higher tier drivers do dive into the pit lane. DRS is enabled, and as you can see, we are now onto the final lap with Bobo in front. The lower tier drivers have been released, so we have a Williams 1-2 at this moment in time. Expect plenty of position changes due to penalties, but at this moment in time, Bobo's going to be the only driver to finish without a single penalty to his name, as it side by side on the exit of Tozer with the Williams and the Red Bull.
And Flaherty has only 3 seconds of penalties to Nibs has got 6, so Flaherty doesn't have to do anything to gain second place.
Yeah, it looks like Red Bull are going to spoil Williams' day due to penalties, but as it looks like Smith's dropped a few places, high 3 seconds, as we'll jump to Bobo as he comes round the second Ravazza to take yet another win in Tier 3 to extend his lead in the championship. As you say, yeah, Flattery takes second due to penalties, as Simba and Hive coming side by side over the line, but Simba dropping places due to penalties. We'll run through the order after everyone's finished so we can get a good clarification of where everybody is after all the penalties have been put into account, as we're now waiting for the likes of Airways, Bergen and Baby Hornet to come across the line. So Airways crosses the line, then Bergen, and now Baby Hornet. So now that everyone's finished and all the penalties have been accumulated and put everyone where they should be, Captain News Driver of the Day, we'll discuss that after the results. But the top 3 has finished, as we see on the podium. Bobo with a faultless run to take another win in Tier 3 and extend his lead. You got Flattery in the Red Bull second, and the second Williams of Nibs in third. That is your podium for Tier 3 at Imola. And we will run through the order when it pops up. There we go. We'll go through the full classifications. This is provisional, with stewards and whatnot to come if anything happens. So Bobo wins, Factory second, Captain Nibs third, Mutsnut Snut fourth, Hive fifth, Stoob sixth, Sambow seventh, Smith eighth, Armar ninth, Wimax 10th, Simba 11th, Shaver 12th, Chris Bailey 13th, Airways 14th, Bergen 15th, Baby Hornet 16th. Classified 4 laps down was Wookie, and then you got Voltage, Triz, and Nicked Champ down the bottom end of the classifications. The game gave it to Captain Nibs, but who would be your shout for possible driver of the day?
I mean, it's hard to look beyond Bobo for the fact that he won the race and kept it clean as well without the penalties, which was obviously a big struggle for a lot of the drivers tonight. Maybe special mention to Flaherty as well for keeping his to 3 seconds and claiming P2. But yeah, overall, I'd have to say Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo would be a big shout. So, I mean, the game's not wrong. I mean, Nibs started towards the back after his quali ban and found himself finishing in the top 3, but I think due to lack of penalties and the way he just controlled that race from start to finish, I would say it would have to be Bobo. But there were, like you say, Flattery with a mention keeping his to a minimum of 3, and Nibs like starting back and finishing in the top 3. But unanimously between the pair of us, we have decided Bobo for Tier 3's driver of the day. Coming up next at 8:45 will be the no assist extreme tier from Imola. So that is it for Tier 3. Tier 3 will be back next Wednesday at the crown jewel of the F1 calendar in Monaco at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. So that is it from me and from Neville. We'll bid you good night.
Yep, thanks everyone.